The Calling Cincinnati will have a commoner event with up to 6 rares in the deck. Let's take a look at what I'm bringing. Hi friends, welcome back to Nearly Sane Games. I'm Neil, and today we're going to take a look at the Levia Commoner deck +6. Now +6 is due to the format that's going to be played in Cincinnati, where we can have up to 6 rares in the deck. And we'll see what changes we've made. First off, my hero is Levia, and I picked her because I want to use some shadow cards and some brute cards. We're not going to play the blood debt game where we just kill ourselves. So we're designed around attacking with 2 cards and blocking with 2 cards. That's the plan, and that's where we're going to go. It's not going to be the best plan, and I'll tell you in a minute, but here we go. So we start with Levia. Our weapon is going to be the Romping Club, a very effective 4-attack weapon. We're not going to be trying to discard as much. This might come up potentially, but a lot of our attacks are not going to have go again. We're not going to be doing a lot of double attacking. So this is generally just a 4-attack for 2, which is still pretty good in the right situation. Goliath Gauntlet, real strong arm piece, +2 to your next attack with cost 2 or greater, and most of our costs are 2 or greater, so that will almost always be good. For the legs, this is the only legs I run. We have a 1 block, which is good for just about anything, and it gets battle worn. This effect is not going to often happen, but there is potential that we can get this to go off, and it's going to be some games that we're going to get this to happen, but not often. But the 1 block battle worn is what we want, and then we can use the effect if we get the chance later. For the headpiece, Hope Merchant's Hood. This gets us out of bad hands. We can shuffle away our hand and draw a different one, or any number of cards. This is going to be excellent. We want to run this in any case that we can. Let's go back over to an alternate headpiece, Ironrot Helm. I'm going to run this against Ninja. I want to have some additional block. It's Blade Break, but what can you do? That's what's in this slot. For the chest piece, normally we want to go with Heart and Cross Strap. Free 2 resources, and sometimes that comes into play, and we can just pop this and potentially get the extra resources we need. Again, we got to worry about Ninja. So again, another battle-worn piece that can block for 1. Also, I've used this Barkbone Strapping effect, where roll a die, potentially gain a resource or 2. And if you don't, it's not a big deal, but sometimes there are situations where you can get that, and it can potentially change your turn. So, and then we run full set of Null Rune with the +6 ruling. Ninja or Wizard might show up. I still think that the thing that makes Wizard scary is their Majestics. Their Majestics allow them to double up and do major damage, but I expect somebody is going to try to run Wizard there. Now, for our 6 rares, I'm doing the full set of Barraging Beatdown. Why am I doing this? This can buff up any brute attack and has Intimidate, and that includes our Romping Club. So this still works for our attack with 2 cards, and it's also a 3 block, which we like to have in the deck. We want all of our blocks to be 3 blocks if possible. So this only gives +2, so Romping Club would only go up to 6 with Intimidate. Now, we're not really that Intimidate focused, as a matter of fact. If I want to do Intimidate, generally I want to do maybe 1, maybe 2 Intimidates. I don't want to intimidate their whole hand. The idea is we want to have big enough attacks that we're pulling cards out of their hands and we're disrupting what they want to do. It doesn't work as well with Ninja, but that's kind of the plan, is we attack with 2 cards and potentially take 2 cards out of their hand. And if they're not built to just attack with 2 cards, they'll be in a bad position, and that's what we want to. That's where we want them to be. So a little bit of Intimidate, a little bit of Pump, and a decent block, and it also works with our weapon, which is good. Next off, we have our big attacks, Deadwood Rumblers. This is the card that could potentially get us to use Hooves of the Shadow Beast. It's not often that it would happen, but this is draw and discard a random card, and if it's 6 or more, we can banish a card. And if we banish a 6 power attack from our graveyard, we can pop the Hooves of the Shadow Beast and get another action point. Again, since this wants to defend with 2 and attack with 2, the chances that we have a good hand to necessarily use that second action point, it's going to be kind of rare, but it's here if we need it. This is an excellent card if we need to arsenal something. I would probably want to arsenal this card. Next up, we have a Wrecker Romp Red, a Nate attack. This will cost us 3 cards to attack with, which is not desirable. We generally want 2, but it also is a 3 block. So we'll take it, and we try to have not so many of these discard cards in our hand. If we wanted to go lean more into that, we might consider using Rhinar instead. But if you go with a Rhinar package, then you're going to be wanting to discard more, and you're going to need more 3-card hands, and that's not the goal of this deck. So we do have the 2 red because they attack for 8, and that's a pretty big number. Then we have our 7s. Lunatide Plunderer. One of the reasons we're running Levia is because it's a shadow action. Attacks for 7, only blocks for 2, which we don't like as much, but potentially has some important effects here. If we're playing against a light hero, we could potentially banish a card from their soul, which can help us. Raging Onslaught, another 7 attack, pretty much 7 blocks for 3, cost 3. This does pretty much everything we want. It's just vanilla, but most of these are going to end up being kind of vanilla anyway. And then Riled Up. Here's pretty much the same card as the Raging Onslaught. Cost 3, attacks for 7, blocks for 3. Again, there's another effect on here if we've discarded, but we're probably not discarding, so we're not leaning into that, so that's probably not going to happen. Smash Instinct. I love Smash Instinct. Again, everything that we want. Attacks for 7, blocks for 3, costs 3. Also has Intimidate. Again, I like to have a little bit of it. Could potentially throw people off their plan, but I don't want to pull all their cards out of their hands. I want them to be using their cards so they don't hit us back quite as hard. Then we have our defense reaction package. And for that, I'm going for Sink Below. Excellent card. Allows us to shape our hand a little bit better. If we don't have a blue, we can sink a red and potentially get another blue. And it's also good to put reds at the bottom of our deck for later. And then I've switched to 1 Fate Foreseen and 1 red Unmovable. Unmovable will be excellent for the Old Hymn matches and Bravo. Also, probably good for big hits from other decks. It's an excellent card to arsenal, and just wait till later. It still goes with our 2-card defend, because we'll be blocking for 3, or paying 3 to use this. and that works out great for us. Then we have our 5-card hand package. First off, we've got all 6 pummels. This is an excellent card if we have 4 cards in hand. Always relevant. I don't think any of our attacks are less than cost 2 or less, so or cost less than 2. So this will always be good. Also works with the club, which is also important, and just an excellent overall card. Also gives us a non-hit effect if we're not using the club, that they'll discard a card, again working on disrupting their hand more. Next up we have 2 Lead the Charge. I've dropped down to 2 of these to make way for the barraging beatdowns, but also this is really kind of a setup card. We could potentially get 2 attacks out of this. I'm going to work on trying not to arsenal this card because it can also be used for blue pitch, and sometimes that's just more important. But we can potentially play this card, play an attack action, and then pitch another card to Romping Club, or potentially pitch another card to do another attack. Sequencing is very important on this. If we're trying to do it with Wrecker Romp or Deadwood Rumbler, we need to make sure to do our other attack first. But this is an attack action card, so that makes things a little bit difficult to sequence properly. With Wrecker Romp, since it costs 2, there's potential we can overpitch. So we, oh no, we can't even overpitch with that. Yeah, so I guess we could pitch a red and then pitch a blue, and that would give us our 4. But again, this would probably be a difficult setup to get to hit with 2 attacks, but hitting with an attack in the club is generally what we want to try to do. Last time I played this, I was not paying attention to that very much. This time I'll try to pay more attention to that and try to get in that club hit. Smash Instinct, still love this card. Still does everything we want it to do. It only attacks for 5 in the blue, but the Intimidate, the 3 cost and 3 block, that's what we want in the blue. Wrecker Romp, same kind of thing. Only 6 power blue that we've got. Still blocks for 3. We can attack if we absolutely have to, but this is more fuel. Riled Up, again, another fuel card that we're not going to discard, so that's not as big of a deal, but a decent attack. Raging Onslaught, same kind of thing. 5 and 3, has the block that we want. Now this is a new addition, Primeval Bellow. And the reason I've added this, this does cost a discard in order for us to play, but this will also work. This is next brute attack. This also works with the Romping Club. So if we have a handful of blues, we can play this, discard one of our blues, doesn't matter which, and if it's a 6 power, it'll pump up the club and give us +3 on that. That's potentially a 9-point attack, depending on what we have in hand. It could be decent. Also, it's a blue. Also, it blocks for 3. Costs us 0. I think this is going to be a good addition to the deck. So speaking of additions to the deck, there's some things that we need to look out for. And the reason I think that this deck is going to be less effective in this format is because our barraging beatdowns are an upgrade for us, certainly, but it's not the best upgrade for us. We're doing this kind of wonky vanilla attack strategy. Again, this might benefit Reinar better, but I'm still not convinced on the discard strategy as being our primary focus. But there are other heroes that get some really big buffs. Starting off, we've got Bravo, or Guardian in general. getting access to disable. A 9 power crush effect, that's pretty decent. They also get staunch response. The Bravo decks are generally looking to be very defensive, and this is another defensive reaction that they'll get access to, which is very good for them. Ninja gets access to Flusterfist, which goes along with their plan very well. And of course, Flick Flack, which is their strongest defense reaction. This thing's a beast and is just going to make Ninja way over the top. There's also access to Plunder Run. Various decks can use this. It's a very good card, and adding it to any commoner deck will be probably a very good addition. Makes for some very dangerous plays. And then Prism. Prism gets access to all of her auras, and these auras can change how strong Prism is. Gives her access to different strategies. The Ode to Wrath gives illusionist cards Go Again, which is scary. And these other cards are also excellent utility. Not sure which ones to go with, but we also get Prismatic Shield, which gives Prism more of the aura strategy and could potentially go harder with defense reactions and get more of that buildup of spectral shields. They don't have Luminaris, so that's still an issue, but potentially if we're going with a lot of blues, you can swing for 3 a lot with Go Again. And Bolton. Oh my gosh. Bolton becomes a whole new deck with the addition of 6 rares, because you get Via the Vanguard, which is an absolute powerhouse. This is what gives Bolton his 20-point attack turns. He will be brutal with this card. Also, Valiant Thrust, an excellent payoff for charging. This can be easily slotted in. Very dangerous. You can take flight, pitch a yellow, take flight, Valiant Thrust, and do serious damage. And finally, he gets Battlefield Blitz. If you charge, it gets Go Again. Allows him to go very wide. I think Bolton's going to be a very scary deck in this matchup. So that's what we've got. That's what I'm taking to the Calling Cincinnati. And yeah, let me know what you think. I'm hoping this deck does pretty well. I've got, I think I've upgraded this to have 16 blues, and there's 4 yellows and 20 reds. So hopefully that distribution works out okay, and if it doesn't, hopefully the Hope Merchant's Hood can get me out of those sticky situations. But that's where it is, and we'll give an update after we get back and talk about how it did. We'll talk to you later.